sit over there, I'm hoping one of those mics is gonna work. So we'll see if it does. But just so you know a little bit about Lisa, so you have an idea of kind of the experience that you're gonna be drawing from. Lisa began her Mary Kay business in February of 2010. She debuted as a sales director 2 years later in May of 2012. She's achieved 27 gold medals, the Honor Society. She's qualified for 6 career cars, 2 of them pink Cadillacs. She's a 2-time member of the Queen's Court of Personal Sales and a 3-time member of the Queen's Court of Sharing. She's led her unit to achieve 6 unit circle appearances, once in the Circle of Excellence. She's earned a top sales director trip and prestige trip. She is a 1-time double star and 2-time triple star achiever. And her highest monthly commission check so far is over $16,000. So please welcome from Beaufort, Georgia, member of Warrior Mental Health Area, All right, I'm gonna come over there and we'll see if one of these mics works now. Test. Oh, okay, great. Awesome. Could y'all hear me asking the questions earlier?
Yes.
Okay, all right, I'll just keep doing that and then you'll keep the microphone. Gotta get the readers back on. Okay, so Andre, I'm actually gonna start with you. So why is it important for you to help support Lisa in her business?
Oh, it's, I think the biggest reason is that, to be successful in anything, you can't do it alone. And in a husband and wife situation, I just feel like it's important to always want to support your wife in whatever she does. And of course, in a business aspect, seeing the big picture of what Mary Kay can do, not only for her individually, but for our family dynamics, was just a no-brainer. From day one, actually when we were dating, she was in DIQ. And so I actually was on her team at that time, because when you're dating and not a spouse, you can actually do the business. And so I came in, qualified, so I understood the big picture of the business, and I seen long term what it could do for us and our family. So it was just a no-brainer for me for the business side.
That's great. So Lisa, from your perspective, why is it important to have Andre's support?
It's important to have your spouse's support for many different reasons, you guys. Mainly the mental, it's mental toughness. And so if you have an unsupportive spouse, because I've had an unsupportive spouse, not this one, had to get rid of him, but so she might get rid of you, okay? But and it wasn't productive, it wasn't healthy, it didn't allow me to thrive, but then Andre coming into our world and just embracing our world and our world embracing him back made a big difference. When the distribution centers used to be open, we lived right down the road from the Sewanee Distribution Center. And all of the ladies in there knew Andre. He would go pick up my orders and things like that. And, the Cadillacs started rolling in and the Offspring started coming. They were like, boy, before you came, wasn't no Cadillac, no Offspring, no nothing. You're here now, we got Cadillacs, Offsprings, trips, and everything else. So the support makes a big difference.
That's awesome. So Andre, what kinds of things have you done to help support Lisa?
Everything from bringing her new team members, getting orders, filling orders, deliveries. I'm a numbers person by nature, so I do all of her reporting and help her do all of her budgeting from that standpoint. Actually recruiting team members. I just signed a girl up on the spot in a store last week. Two or three of her directors were people that I helped her, recruit. So, and even from the business standpoint, like now, since we're growing as fast as we are, when we've had multiple DIQs, She'll take 2 DIQs to coach and train, and I'll take 2, and we'll make sure that they get through the finish line. So just about from A to Z, I call myself the exception to the rule. I don't think anyone, I mean, I'm sure there are some, but most probably aren't involved as I am in her business, but it's because it works for us. And that's one of the things that I always tell guys at classes and things that I've trained at, is that you have to identify with your spouse what's going to work for you. She may not want you, all she wants you to do is take this order over to my customer, or take this to the UPS or to the postal and mail this, but then some may want more, may want you to sit down and, hey, help me figure out what's the best solution for this. So you have to identify within your own personal situation what's going to work out best for you.
I want to piggyback on something he said. Yeah, I mean, like, we were out shopping last week. I left him in one store and I came back and he's got InTouch pulled up and the girl's like ready to sign up on the spot. But that comes from education, you guys. So get to learn, and I'm going to just tell you, we are territorial about our businesses. So you have to find the approach that works best for your wife. I'm not going to say that I'm always like, yes. I mean, I've even told our national Gloria, I'm changing my InTouch password. He is out of control, right? And she's like, ha, ha, ha. No, you're not, right? Because she knows that support is best. So coming to classes like this, anything that you have in your national area, anything that the company invites you all to come to, educate yourself. I mean, he knows the advanced brochure front and back. He knows the requirements for everything. We're on our way to NSD. He knows how many directors, how many cars, how many seniors, what production needs to be. He knows all of that. And those are things that, you can get them printed off from her InTouch. If she doesn't want to give you the password, let her print it off for you and study it, because you guys will be stronger together than separate.
Wow, yes, it's true.
Okay, so Andre, what's the best advice you'd give to the husbands in the room?
Again, I think I'd go back to what I said. It's just that, you have to really, if you really want to be involved, and I want to point out what NSD husband Alex said, is that, the events are so important because you see the big picture. And I think that's what got me, because I went to my first event would have been was Seminar 2012. And I have not missed a event since. I went to every seminar, every career conference, every leadership, every fall advance, because it makes a difference. With going to the event, seeing the big picture, hearing some of the stories of some of the nationals and some of the top directors, and really seeing not only what the personal growth that it has brought them, but also the income that it can bring you is just tremendous. And I mean, she'll tell you she may work, 10 hours a week, or she may work 30 or 40 hours a week. But at the same time, her income, she's built her business in a way that the income is going to be there. We've had several situations when I had a massive heart attack and had to have triple bypass, where I didn't have to work for over a year because of Mary Kay. I'm sure she'll get into like the weddings that we've married 2 kids in the last year, and it was majority of it was Mary Kay that paid for it.
Wow.
So, the events and just the constant support, but identifying that with your spouse is very important.
That's great. So Lisa, what advice would you have for the husbands?
Pretty much the same thing. I mean, in our Magic family, they know us as Team Charity. We are a team. You and your spouse, before Mary Kay, you guys are a team. So with her Mary Kay business, you have to find a way to be a team. And it doesn't just affect, the 2 of you and her Mary Kay business, but also the children. We have 3 adult children right now. And, oftentimes it's said, it is what is caught, not what is taught. And so our children, they're all entrepreneurs. They have other careers. One works in the fashion industry as an assistant designer in Manhattan. Another one works in the hospital system, and our son works in HVAC. But all 3 of them have their own businesses. Our son has his own tie company, so he watches how Andre and I work together, and he and his wife work together. They use those skills. Our daughter Amber has her own clothing line. And so she works with that. And then our daughter Lauren is a brand new sales director.
Wow.
We're so excited for her. She is a January 1 sales director, and even her husband watches what Andre does with me, and he's like, how can we, what's our next step, Mom? What do we need to do? She finished with a DIQ. So they're learning how to be a team. So learn how to be a team. You've heard the saying, teamwork makes the dream work. Mary Kay Ash always said, you can do this business with a man, without a man, but not against a man. She needs your support, and you guys have to figure out how you can best support her.
Let's shift to something a little fun here. So what was it like to go on a top director trip, and what was your most memorable moment?
Well, unfortunately, our top director trips have been ones that's been in the pandemic, so we actually haven't been able to go. However, our first trip that we won with Mary Kay would have been the cruise. And so, of course, we got to go to that, and that just gave us a small glimpse of what a top director trip would be, because it was laid out. I mean, they laid out the red carpet. I mean, everything taken care for. We had an amazing time. So we knew that set the standard very high for us for a top director trip. So we are looking forward to hopefully winning again this year, so that we can actually get one that's non-pandemic and we actually can take it. However, the one beautiful thing about winning the trip, even though we didn't get to go, was the extra $25,000 that Mary Kay gave us. So that was a great consolation prize.
Yeah, we were sad at first, but when that deposit hit, we was like, yes, we can go to Barcelona 10 times on this right here, right? So yeah, the trip, that cruise was definitely amazing, and it really was the fuel for us to run after the top director trip, just getting a glimpse from that cruise.
Okay, that's great. So I'm gonna ask you the same question I asked to Alex, and y'all can both answer. Why is it important for you to attend the events? And then Andre, why is it important for you to also attend?
Mm-hmm. Events, for her, it's important for her to attend an event. This is where we get recharged. This is where we get refueled. This is where we get new ideas, especially events like leadership, because it's designed for the role of the sales director or the elite or the national, so that we can take it back to our people and then we can educate and train them. I have never missed an event, and I can honestly say I've taken something away from every event. There's always something new, a new aha idea, or even the stories. You guys heard the nationals that were retiring and their stories, and like Alex said, when the kids were saying, thank you, Mom, and the tears were welling up, right? And it's just an amazing thing. So she needs the event. If you can't accompany her, encourage her to go. She does not need to miss it. She does not need to stress about, oh, I gotta clean, I gotta this, I got the kids. That's where you guys can step in and say, okay, well, I got this, honey. You go ahead and go get your education, because it'll be beneficial for the entire family.
And again, just to reiterate, if you can allow yourself to make a couple events every year with her, you'll see the joy that she has. You'll see how excited she is to have you at an event. And I would give you all the best advice in terms of events is not only to go, but when you go back home, she will be juiced up. However, but when that juice starts to trickle down, it's our job to make sure that juice keeps running. Because it's gonna happen. Something's gonna happen when you come home that's gonna make her lose her fire again. But it's our job to keep that fire going, keep adding fuel to it, to keep it burning. So that's what I would say is to, when you come to an event, don't just come, I see a lot of gentlemen, they'll come and you don't see them at the actual events. They're just in the city hanging out or whatever. But try to make a couple of events. Try to sit in on a couple director meetings or sit in on a seminar. And I'm telling you, it will make a powerful impact.
And attend the spouses class.
Yes, and one more thing on that point. Don't just show up when your wife is winning.
Wow, yeah.
Andre has been there for me whether I'm winning or whether I'm sucking on the scoreboard, right? He will lift me up, and he will make me feel like a winner. And sometimes she doesn't need to hear the rah, rah, rah. She just needs you to listen. But come to the events. I've seen so many husbands that are present when their wife is crossing the stage and getting all the prizes. And when she's not winning, he's not there. she needs you there whether she's winning or not.
So is there anything you would have done differently if you could do it all over again?
Differently, I would have married Andre first instead of the other guy. But just doing it, not being, you know, your wife is not gonna be open to, some of the wives are not gonna be open to you just stepping in the role that Andre has stepped in. And it was a lot of resistance on my part in the beginning because, especially since I had married Kay before he came into the picture. And so, again, it's that territorial. So just be patient and understand, don't bulldoze your way in. You know, I would have probably let him in to the business side of it a lot sooner if I could have done that differently.
Yeah, I would say that's one of the things I had to learn, because initially as men, we want to be fixers. We see what she's something and we'll say, she's not doing that right. You know, that's not right. And we want to be like, you know, like, look, this is what you need to do.
Wow.
If you want to be, you know, but you have to take a step back and you have to figure out exactly how to approach that. You know, and I found that it's easier to sit down and I was like, hey, have you ever thought about this? You know, what about trying this versus this is what you need to do? You know, so I think that doing things differently just early on, I think that would allow her to let me in sooner on the business side, is just taking a different approach on how I wanted to help her.
Yeah, I think I could take that advice all the time with
Yes.
my wife, not just with the business.
Right.
So what would you say to a negative or non-supporting husband?
And I've said this to several, just to piggyback off what she said, because there has been husbands, and I'll call them and I'll ask, hey, I haven't seen you at seminar in a few years, I haven't seen you at such a, oh, well, you know, she's not, she knows that if she's not, you know, winning this or winning that, or you know, Mary Kay's not doing well, you know, I'm not coming. And I'm like, but so you just a fair weather supporter of your wife? You know, I'll call them out because it's big. I mean, it's like almost in her mind, she's like, wow, my husband only supports me when I'm winning. You know, and that's just added pressure onto that. So to any of the negative husbands, and even ones that, you know, because one of the things that I think happens with the men is that they see, and early on, they see a lot of money going out and not a lot of money coming in.
Right.
And so you have to, in your mind, think business from a business standpoint. What business, fresh off the ground, is making money off the rip? Hardly ever. There's, you know, some businesses will take 5 to 10 years before you see a profit. And so you have to really think about it from a business standpoint and say, this is an investment. To make a short-term investment for a long-term gain. So yes, you may not see the immediate results of the income coming in initially, but trust me, if you stick to the process, stick to your mentorship of whoever her senior sales director is, if she follows what the guidelines and the plans, trust me, the business will work, because it's proven. It's proven.
And I would just say, from a male perspective, think about it if you had a boss and you went to work, and every time you went to work, all they did was complain and tell you all the things that you did bad, and blah, 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 you know, or your coworkers were just negative, and how that energy just brings you down. Negativity kills productivity. It kills it. So she can't, if you want this business to work and you want her, maybe she's not in a Cadillac yet, maybe she doesn't have an Osprey, maybe she's a brand new director. You can't be negative, because that is not going to help the situation. It's just gonna magnify the problem. And like Andre said, yes, you're gonna see money going out and lots of boxes coming in. But you know what, you guys? Imagine, you know, we when there's a snowstorm or when the pandemic hit and you couldn't find toilet paper, right? Anywhere. The shelves were bare, right? She needs to have a full store. She does not need to wait. Wait till she sells all of that and then order some more. Like, my customers can come into our house and literally go shopping on my shelves if they needed to. You know, this company has the 90% buyback, so it's no loss to you. Allow her to operate her business like a business, and it will pay her like a business. And don't be negative about it.
Just a funny story. We were out of town, and my brother lives about an hour from me, but he had some work on our side of town. So he while we were out of town, he came and stayed at the house, and so he sends this picture of our front porch, and it was about 15 UPS boxes from Mary Kay on there. And so he says, "Bro, you guys get this many boxes all the time?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "It's, no big deal. It's a business." I said, "If you worked at a shoe store, if you worked at any other retail store, they have to supply their shelves, right?" And I said, so I've never once complained about how many boxes that are coming, because I know those boxes generate revenue. And so that's how you have to be. You have to always be thinking in a business standpoint when it comes to, making sure that you have inventory.
That's great. Is there any other advice that y'all would want to share?
Just that, Mary Kay is a wonderful opportunity. I heard a National Sales Director Emeritus, Vanilla Benjamin, once say, because she's from the Caribbean and she came to America, and a lot of people say America is the land of opportunity. But she said, America is the land of opportunity, but Mary Kay is the opportunity of the land. We have such an amazing business opportunity, and the thing is, she can move just like that. You guys, it didn't take us very long to get in the space of 12 months. We offspring between our first and second line, at 13 directors last year. And it was because we worked together as a team. If I had to do it by myself, I probably would not have moved as fast. So find a way that you can help her as a team so that you guys can move up and get Mary Kay has a banquet awaiting for you and your family. So figure out how you can best utilize the tools so you can eat everything. I know y'all like buffets. Everybody likes buffets, right? So you can eat all of the buffet that Mary Kay has to offer.
And I would definitely say, even if you don't want to be involved in the day-to-day operation of the business, you should still know the business plan. Know the compensation plan. Know how she can maximize her income, because the more opportunities she can reach the bonuses on a month-to-month basis, long term, it's just going to be so huge for your family. We didn't get to talk about it, but like I said, we married 2 kids off in one July 2021 and one July of 2020. And even though they both were COVID weddings, our bank account didn't seem like it. Our daughter, who was our baby, kept saying, "Oh, I just want the wedding of my dreams." I was like, "Yeah, you're getting it, that's for sure." But all of that was really her wedding was paid for by almost one check for my wife. 1 month. So it's. If you maximize the opportunity, you maximize the compensation plan, knowing exactly when she starts talking the lingo, when you understand what she's talking about, and she sees that you understand, you will see her light up, and she will be reaching for the stars, I'm telling you. So it will definitely benefit you, not in only in your personal relationship, but in her business. If you really just show a minimal amount of interest in her business, it'll go a long way.
And on that, what Andre said about the wedding, it just brings me to tears almost to think that when I was a single mom and not working my business to its fullest potential, there was a time that, I couldn't give them the things that they wanted. But then we worked as a team, and when Lauren went to pick out her dress, we walked into the bridal salon, Andre and I with her and our other daughter and our daughter-in-law, and she's like, "Well, Mom, what's my budget?" And I was like, "You have no budget." Wow. I said, "Just buy what you want." Now be careful when you tell them that, because they get why did the veil cost as much as the dress? I'm like, just get what you want, Lauren. And she was able to do that, and we were able to just get everything that day. And she's like, "Do we have to come back and pick it up?" No. The lady bagged everything up and we took everything with us that day.
Wow.
And that was compliments of Mary Kay. And so it makes a huge difference.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, I just really, I'm hoping y'all are sensing